One of the things that so many people struggle with when it comes to triathlon is swimming in the open water. Including myself, I've spent years trying to get the hang of being able to convert my pool swimming, which was pretty decent at the time because I'm from an elite swimming background, into a successful open water swim. And it's just not happened. I've been really struggling with just getting to grips with being able to put down speed and power in the open water. And I couldn't work out why. I just could not work it out. And like I said, it's taken me years to come to a few conclusions, which has definitely helped me be able to execute that swim to the way and potential that I think I should have been able to. So I thought I'd take you through some of my learnings that I've had through training and racing so that you can do it for yourself. Training the right way has been one of the biggest reasons that I've been able to conquer my biggest weakness in triathlon, being open water swimming. And it's my biggest weakness in triathlon because I always used to just get really tired, tie up, panic, fill up with lactic acid, and not be able to do basically the rest of the race. So the fact that I couldn't execute that swim to the way that I should have been able to, or I should or can do now, meant that the rest of my race was basically compromised because I'd basically ruined myself before I even got onto the bike, and therefore couldn't put down the power that I can do now and couldn't race well on the run either. So being able to conquer that swim in the right way has allowed me to really access and open up the rest of my race. So having the understanding of what I was doing in training has allowed me to really tailor and hone in on how to actually race the race. So I think that having a coach and a little bit of personal understanding, obviously, has allowed me to really focus in on the right sort of sessions at the right intensity. And obviously it's all bespoke, it's all kind of personalized, and it depends per person, but it's allowed me to really kind of ensure that each session is right for me. And this is in a group setting, so it's not like I'm having to follow other people in the session. I'm actually personally tailoring myself within that session to the right intensity so that I know that I'm getting the most out of myself every single time that I'm in the water. So for me, from a swimming background, I've got quite a high VO2 max, quite a high ceiling, which has meant that I can produce a lot of lactic acid. However, that speed and lactic acid comes with obviously its downfalls, which are that I'm doing a 2-hour race now, or a 4-hour race, which means that I can't then disperse it without going really slow later on in the race. So what I've had to do is I've had to basically slow myself down in training and make myself really efficient at certain speeds. And like I said, this isn't necessarily right for everyone because some people might not have a big ceiling, so they have to go a little bit slower in training. But for the most part, it's quite often the case that people need to just slow things down a little bit and get more efficient with what they're doing in the water. And this will then translate into the open water as well, because then you can't go too hard. Like Ollie, I know, can't go too hard in the water when he's swimming, or racing should I say, because he's really efficient. He's quite close to his ceiling with his threshold. So that means that he's not producing loads of lactic acid, and therefore he can do the rest of the race pretty much almost redlining, but not. Whereas if I redline and go over the top, then I basically capitulate. So it's been like a really long, laborious journey of me just swimming pretty steady and slow in order to make myself more efficient and faster for less effort. As soon as I start swimming fast, it's working completely the wrong system. It's allowing me to produce more lactic acid. It's probably putting on more muscle. It's not making myself efficient, and it's basically doing completely the wrong thing for me. So what I've had to do, like I said, is just swim slow to swim fast, and therefore I've been able to convert that into my racing. This does, however, require patience, and not everyone, as I'm well aware, are patient. I think I've exhibited quite a lot of patience over the past couple of years, and therefore I've really seen the rewards when it comes to racing. And yes, I've had some of my best races ever this season, putting a minute into a pro field and leading out in the Island Games and things like that. Like, it's been amazing to see that progress in real life. Like, I think the past couple of years I've been stepping up, but you've not really seen it until this year. So I'm really pleased that all of these like kind of things that I've been working out over the past couple of years are really coming to fruition now. I've filled up with lactic acid multiple times, swimming to that first buoy, gone out too hard, and yeah, just kind of capitulated midway through the swim, panicking, out of breath, not able to kind of move my arms, technique going to pot. So this is all throughout racing, and the things that I've learned throughout racing are both to do with pacing and kind of the skill aspect, but also to do with my equipment. So my wetsuit has been fundamental in terms of accessing my swim potential. And by that I mean getting the right size of wetsuit. I have found that because I've got a long torso, or longer torso, I've needed to go for a longer or taller wetsuit. I am by no means tall. I'm 5'9", but I go for a medium tall hoop wetsuit because it allows me to have more flexibility between the shoulder and the hip, and that's where you're like stretching and reaching out. So I've really been able to access a lot more speed and power and endurance because I'm not as tight between the shoulder and the hip. And because of that, I've really been able to kind of use what I'm seeing in the pool in open water. There's been a lot of kind of fear and frustration that has gone into my racing and pacing and skills within a triathlon open water swim. Primarily because I have mucked it up so many times, and I am scared of going out too hard, and I am frustrated that I'm not able to kind of get involved with people hitting me and whatnot. So I've had to rein it in because I'm scared and pace myself a lot better. So that's going out a little bit slower, not going full gas. And that frustration of being hit, I've had to really kind of compose myself and be able to relax and deal with it going throughout the 1500 meters, 1900 meters. Like, yeah, you do get hit. Yeah, a wave might knock you and put you off balance or whatnot, but it's about being comfortable in those situations, comfortable in the uncomfortable, and being able to really make yourself as smooth and efficient as possible throughout that swim. And yeah, like, it just comes with more practice, open water, and just being mindful that you need to relax within that swim. As I was going through the process of learning how to do and execute a triathlon open water swim, it has been a sort of anxious process, and I've had to overcome that. And I've done that through multiple ways, but like I've said, and in the summary, it's been a combination of the correct training, being able to really understand where I'm at with my training and not overswim within a race, but then also swimming slower in order to swim fast. So both in training and in racing, like not overcooking things, being specific in my training, making sure that I'm doing the right thing for me every single time, no matter what other people are doing, and being patient. Like, you have to be patient. Triathlon is a patient endeavor. Like, things do not happen overnight. It's an endurance sport. At the end of the day, you have to put in the work. You have to put in the effort over a long period of time. There's no escape. Getting the right equipment, being in the right wetsuit, the right size. And finally, getting the right pacing for your race and the right amount of skills. So it doesn't matter who you are, where you are, you need certain skills to be able to swim in the open water, whether it be sighting, drafting, swimming on people's hips, navigating. All of these things need to be done well, efficiently, effectively. So yeah, I've had to go through all of that throughout my time as a triathlete and into professional triathlon races. And it's made me and allowed me to be able to race at the front end of triathlons, and I am buzzing about that. Like, I've finally broken through to what I think is my potential, both in the pool and in the open water. Obviously, I hope to be better, but I'm now at the front end of a lot of these swims, and yeah, where I want to be, and hopefully it's not costing me too much. I don't think it is. Like, I'm still able to ride and run really well, but it's just that process, isn't it? And you've got to go through that process to understand it and also execute well. So I hope this has helped, and if it has, do hit subscribe, do hit that like button, and leave me a comment. Just let me know what you're up to and see if I can help, because I'll always get back to you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.